We are now 6 months away from the 2026 midterm elections in November. And as we look ahead to what could be a major shift in the dynamics of Washington, we wanted to take a step back, look at where we are and what it means for President Trump. First, the war with Iran, which has lasted more than 2 months. We're technically in a ceasefire, but if you were in the Strait of Hormuz today, you might not know it. The U.S. military says it sunk 7 Iranian vessels today as it kicks off Project Freedom, a newly announced mission to guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz. It's still unclear when and how this war will end, but what is clear is the effect on oil and gas prices. The national average for a gallon of gas is nearly $4.50, according to AAA, and that has a downstream effect on virtually everything. Groceries are more expensive because it costs more to transport goods across the country. Airfares are higher because of the high cost of jet fuel, and these aren't just temporary disruptions. They're having a permanent impact. Spirit Airlines shut down over the weekend, in part because it couldn't keep up with rising costs. So what could it all mean for the White House? A new Washington Post ABC Ipsos poll shows 34% of Americans approve of how President Trump is handling the economy. 40% approve of the job he's doing on immigration, and 33% approve of the war with Iran. His overall approval rating is at 37%, while his disapproval rating hit 62%. That number is the highest ever for the president across both terms in office. Earlier today, he shrugged off the numbers.
They give me fake polls. They tell me about polls and this. You know, it's interesting. I did a poll on the war with Iran, and they said only 32% of the people like it. Well, I don't like it, and I don't like war at all, but we're equipped better than it. We have the greatest military in the world.
CBS News reporter Kathryn Watson joins us now. Thank you so much for being here. So we're 6 months away from the midterms. What is the mood at the White House, and what's the message to the public?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It's very clear to the White House that it is very important that the president have a positive view on the economy. And listen, the White House looks at these polls. The president, as you saw, obviously pays attention to those polls. We know that the economy and the cost of living were some of the top reasons why people voted for President Trump, why they voted for Republicans in the last election. And that has a lot of Republicans worried heading into the midterm elections. But of course, we look at what the president said today. I'm reading some of his remarks. He was really trying to lean into his the things that he can say he's done for the economy, the tax breaks that he's been able to give on tips and on Social Security income for seniors. The White House is really trying to play up these positive things. The president talked today in this speech he had to small business leaders, trying to say the economy is booming, the stock market is doing well. But of course, it's one thing to say that things are going great, and it's another thing for Americans to feel that in their pocketbooks. So the White House is paying very close attention to these gas prices in particular.
And so much of this was triggered by the war. Where do efforts stand on ending the conflict?
Yeah, well, we are seeing proposals being passed back and forth. Iranian state media said that the Iranian regime is reviewing a response that they received from the U.S. to a 14-point proposal that Iran put forward. We don't have much confirmation from the Trump administration at this point, but President Trump did say over the weekend that he would probably reject that proposal. He has said that that Iran has not done enough. Looking at some of his quotes from recently over the weekend, the president said Iran has not paid a big enough price, and that's why he would probably reject any proposal coming from them. But then again today, the president told Fox News that the Iranian regime is being a little more malleable, a little more flexible. So he's also trying to project some optimism as we don't actually have any current talks planned between the U.S. And Iran overseas.
Okay, Kathryn Watson, thank you.
Thank you.
CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson joins us now. So, Allie, we will get to the latest strikes in the Strait. But first, can you explain President Trump's Project Freedom initiative? How many ships have gone through so far?
Yeah, this initiative is the latest effort in really a weeks-long effort to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and restore traffic to pre-conflict levels. As part of this effort, the military will coordinate with commercial ships that have been stuck in the Persian Gulf to follow a path along the strait that's farther from Iran. The Navy, in a warning this morning, said that any ships traveling along the normal route could be subjected to extreme hazardous conditions because there are mines in that normal route, and directed ships to follow a path cleared by the Navy over the last several weeks. The Navy, to prove that that path works and to instill confidence in other commercial shipping companies, did send 2 naval destroyers into the Persian Gulf and coordinated to get 2 U.S. flagged vessels out through the strait. So since the mission started, 2 U.S. flagged vessels have made it out of the strait safely, but that represents just a fraction of the hundreds of ships that are bottled up on both sides of the strait.
Wow. And according to CENTCOM, Iran responded to Project Freedom by attacking U.S. commercial and military vessels in the strait. Then the U.S. sunk 7 small Iranian boats that launched those attacks. What more do we know?
Yeah, the Iranians retaliated against this new mission by launching cruise missiles, drones, and fast attack speedboats at U.S. warships and commercial ships. According to the head of the U.S. forces in the Middle East, Admiral Brad Cooper, he told reporters today that the U.S. successfully intercepted the cruise missiles and the drones and shot down the speedboats using Apache and Seahawk helicopters. According to Admiral Cooper, no U.S. warships or commercial vessels were hit, but President Trump today did post on Truth Social that a South Korean ship may have been damaged. In his post, President Trump again expressed frustration that other allies aren't coming to help reopen the strait faster. It's a frustration he's had for several weeks now, and this new initiative is really a sign that he's not willing to really play the waiting game during the time it would take to a blockade alone to force Iran to surrender on his terms.
Okay, Eleanor Watson, thank you.